Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be another embarrassing story time. It wouldn't be me if the story time was not embarrassing. That I'm going to share with you guys. What inspired this story time is the fact that the person that it's about had hit me up the other day. So that was like, oh, I was thinking, okay, so that's something that I could share with the gang, you know what I'm saying? So yes, you read the title right, ladies, and please do not judge me. This was a very long time ago. I don't have the same mindset or anything that I did years ago, girl, because it's gonna get real cringy, okay? So we're gonna name the dude, we just gonna name him T, okay? When I first started dating T, honestly, I had met him on Snapchat. You know, he had slid up or whatever, and it seemed like ever since we started communicating, we were just inseparable from that point forward. I got with him right before he was about to go into basic training. I know, girl. If anybody has ever dated an army man, then you know exactly a little bit about how this story is about to go. But don't count me out just yet, girl. Don't count me out just yet. So anyways, when he started his basic training, of course, you know, we couldn't see each other for I think about 3 months. That was an extremely amount of long time, but the whole relationship lasted about 6 months, I'll say. Okay, before I jump ahead of myself, right, a red flag that I overlooked with T was the fact that things were going great in the relationship, and I remember one day he just started an argument with me for no reason, right? So I guess I had responded back to him in a way that was not combative. So he was like, oh, okay, you passed that test, I just wanted to see how you would respond, right? And I understand, like, men will test you and stuff like that, but I'm telling you ladies right now,
you need to run.
If a man is going to be putting you through all types of tests just to see if you can stick it out, just to see if you the one, honey, look, it ain't worth it, okay? So, boom, that was a red flag that I had ignored anyways. So, when he had went off to basic training, we were doing the whole writing letters back and forth. Sometimes we would get to talk on the phone, but of course, if somebody in the platoon had messed something up, then I probably wouldn't hear from him for a couple of days. When he had first started in basic training, I was writing him notes, like, very heavy. He had a woman that he considered his mom that wasn't his biological mom. She had told him, but it's just the woman that had raised him, and she had told him, you know, that she was not going to be writing him during basic training. And me being me, that really honestly like weighed on my heart, because when you're doing something like that, you need all the support that you can get. So I felt like that I was really like filling that void for him and making sure that I was like on my A game when it came to these letters for my man, because she was not going to be supportive of him until he graduated his basic training. And he already had like a rough upbringing. I won't get into his story because that's nobody's business. So that made my heart grow softer for him anyways. And of course, you know, when you're dating a military man, for the most part, they tend to move extremely fast. So a lot of them will have you thinking that the relationship is actually going somewhere and that is true, genuine love. But a lot of them, you know, be ready to marry somebody for a check, sweetheart. They be hustlers too, okay?
999,900, 1 million.
So it got to the point where, like, within this time frame, we were talking, you know, about marriage and a future and stuff like that. He had paid for me to come out, invite someone to come with me, you know, for his graduation. It went well. Hopefully I can find some pictures so I could try to put it in here, you guys. At this time, I was working at the chicken plant, and I think I was also going to school too. I was a USDA helper, and anybody who has ever worked in the chicken plant, you know that a USDA is the person that sits in the chair and they direct their helper what to do with the chickens, like cut it here, cut it there, throw it away. Basically, they tell you how to violate the chicken. The USDA lady that I had, me and her had grew a close bond, and let's just call her Alicia. So me and Alicia, we were, you know, talk deeply. Like, y'all know how, now Alicia was way older than me. Now don't get me wrong, y'all know how y'all have those work friends where age doesn't really be a main factor in the relationship, because y'all can still communicate and relate to each other. So she was already probably maybe in her 40s at that time. And Alicia, if you watching this, don't take no offense. So anyways, Alicia was an older Caucasian lady, and we had started talking, and she had been in the military before. And I used to dream of being in the military. That honestly used to be my goal. I'm glad I couldn't make it into the military. But anyways, that's a whole nother different story for a whole nother day, girl. We was talking, you know, I was telling her about my man or whatever. And, you know, she had suggested that maybe I should go surprise him. He ended up getting stationed in El Paso, Texas. And so she gave me an idea of, oh, maybe you should, go out there and surprise him. And at first I was thinking, hell no. But then I started thinking, I was like, you know what, this is my man, and I want to, here comes the pick-me energy. It's just grabbing me by the throat as I'm finna allow this to come out my mouth. I wanted to show my man that I was all for him, and I wanted to show him that I genuinely cared about him, and I was honestly like the woman for him, basically. And I call it pick me vibes because I shouldn't have been trying to prove anything to a man if he didn't see it in the first place, which he claimed he did, but this was the younger version of myself. So it's like, girl, if he wanted you to be out in El Paso, Texas with him, he would have made those arrangements, which eventually he was going to make those arrangements. But I decided, by taking Alicia's advice, that I should go ahead and show up for my man and show my man something. When I first told my mama about it, she was mad. We had got into it. She was supposed to be the one to take me to the airport, but she didn't do it. Shout out to you, my dupes. You be knowing what's up. And so anyways, when we got into it and she didn't want to take me, I'm like, ain't nothing finna stand in the way of me being with my man, period. If there's a will, there's a way, and I'm finna make a way to get down there with my boo, baby. So anyways, this finna be my future husband. Why wouldn't I want to take the chance to make him feel special, right? So anyways, Alicia ended up taking me to the airport in Georgia. I mean, in Atlanta. And I was so thankful for her at that time for taking me to the airport, because I didn't have to give her nothing. I didn't have to do anything. She was just, being supportive in that moment. So another red flag that I should have looked out for was, you guys, I kid you not, my flight got delayed several times that day when I made it to the airport. Let me go ahead and take a sip of this cranberry juice, girl, because honestly, my flight got delayed at least 5 to 7 times. So imagine how long I actually stayed at the airport. And to me, looking back, that was a sign from God telling me, girl, you need to just get your stuff, go back home. You don't need to be up here at this airport waiting, because you guys, I was a little bitty thing. I'm sure I was scared being out there, but it did give me like a different scenery and a different view of things, because I was also thinking about how much money I had invested into everything. And so Alicia had shown me a way where I can, get the flight and stuff for cheaper. So that's what I chose, but it still was not cheap. So yeah, flight kept on getting delayed. Me and him was on the phone the whole entire time. Oh God, I skipped a part. I ended up telling him that I was going to come out to El Paso, Texas to visit him, because I really didn't like the idea of me popping up unannounced. Because honestly, you think that you can trust somebody and you think that everything is okay, but in situations where you just pop it up way across the country, you never know what can happen. So I didn't want to put myself in a position where I'm doing a pop-up attack and end up getting surprised my damn self, girl. So anyways, we was on the phone the whole entire time. Flight kept on getting delayed. Everything was taking long. It was a long, drawn out day. And then finally I got to board my flight. And I was so scared to fly, but I was like, anything for my man, child. I'm gonna get on this plane. I'm gonna make it do what it do, because at the end of the day, I'm finna go see my man. We finna be happy. We finna be booed up. We finna enjoy this time with each other, pushing us one step closer to marriage, child. This is finna be my man. Boom. Ended up getting to the airport in El Paso, Texas. So T had came to pick me up with one of his friends. I had rode in the back seat or whatever. I had wore my natural hair out, and I had did a story time about this guy before, like when I first started YouTube, and it was called He Hated My Natural Hair or something like that. So if you guys are interested in that story time, please do not be a stranger to go through my previous videos and check out everything you want to check out about your girl, period. Boom, we kicking it, everything is okay. We didn't get to like explore El Paso, Texas in the way that I had wanted to. He took me on a date. We had a hotel room. But towards the end of the trip, we had went back to his room that he had, you know, where he was stationed at. And everything was okay. I felt like that he was kind of being weird, and I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you guys. Like, when I first started dating this dude, he was like the only dude I've ever dated like with abs. And honey, he had like a 6, 7, 8 pack. Honey, he had one of them, like real buff, real muscular or whatever. And he was the type that liked to show off his body on social media and stuff like that. That should have been a red flag to me, because, sweetheart, if everybody can see everything that you're working with, then I don't want you. I don't want you. If I have to keep on, and I did keep on constantly telling him, like, oh, you trying to show out, huh? He out in front of the camera showing his pearly white, showing that chest, baby, just glistening. Like, no, sir. Put some clothes on. Have some respect for your relationship. When we had first got together, he was the type that, you know, would constantly post me like they all do, child. It ain't nothing new to a G. At this point, I'm an OG up in this thing. I'm constantly getting posted and embarrassed, you know, in my old relationships. It's nothing new. So he posted me and his family, you know, for his graduation. Everybody had showed up for him, you know, telling how appreciative that he was of all of us that had came out and supported him. It made me feel like I was just, you know, his gift from God, period. You might as well say. A disclaimer that I want to put out, you guys. When I make these story times, I don't make them so that I sound like the victim. I really just be telling you guys what really happened. So when it gets to the point where it's like, dang, you can't have nothing successful, it's just my bad luck with these type of guys that I'm running into. So I noticed that he wasn't posting me as much when I had got to El Paso, Texas. And honestly, after he had graduated his basic training, where I spent that time, you know, building him up, speaking life into him, encouraging him, writing him back to back to back to back to back, honey, anything I could do to make my man feel appreciated and good. After he graduated basic training, it's like I felt a shift. I felt something was different. So when I had came down there, I noticed that he wasn't like posting me like he normally would and stuff like that. And so I can't remember if I said something to him about it, or if he just ended up taking a picture of us or whatever, and he ended up posting it on his Snapchat. But me being me, the little investigator that I am, because it ain't nothing new up under the sun, sweetheart. And if I want to know something, I'm gonna find out. So when he had went to sleep, I had grabbed his phone to see if the picture that T posted of us on his Snapchat was still there, because I'm like, this man is acting a little funny, a little wishy-washy with me right now. Went on his Snapchat, girl. The picture was not there. So I'm looking at this man while he's sleeping. I'm like, you low down dirty bitch. Like, I felt like a fool. I feel like, okay, like obviously this man playing me, and I done came all the way down here looking like an even bigger fool than I feel right now. When he had woke up, I had mentioned it to him, and so he ended up posting another picture of us that he actually let stay on there. He got a few compliments from some of his Snap friends, probably people that he was cheating with. Who knows, child? You just never know. You never know. So anyways, I think we had something had happened, and it was so long ago I can't even remember all the details, girl. I should have been on YouTube sooner so I could catch y'all up on tea. Something had ended up happening. I can't remember if we had got into it over something bad in El Paso, Texas, but if we did, we probably made up. Most of the trip was good. We didn't really go anywhere, like, for real. We didn't really do nothing. Like, I think I remember meeting some of his friends, and that was just about it. Like, after that trip, we was talking about, of course, marriage. He was talking about us getting joint bank accounts, honey, making me feel like that we really headed somewhere, and that we really, like, finna make this thing work. We finna have a future together. We finna build this together. Like, I'm finna be this man's wife. We finna be searching for wedding rings soon and stuff like that.
Use your common sense.
I wanted to get married.
As you can see, child, that didn't happen. Oh, boom. After the trip, of course, the relationship starts to slowly drift apart and slowly fade away. Honestly, you guys, he was extremely wishy-washy. There will be a lot of times where he just straight up flipped on me, and he just acted like I was nobody to him and that he didn't want me like that. So me being me, I'm not finna let somebody play with me too many times. And nowadays, at my grown age of 25, I don't even allow you to even play with me like that, period. So he would do certain stuff that would piss me off. So I would cut him off. And then every time I cut him off, it seemed like that he would just, you know, start coming for me harder and harder. Like one time when I had broke up with him, he was like,
I just told my mama that I'm finna marry you. Like, I'm so serious about you. I love you to death.
it's like he started pouring more into me when I was about to let the relationship go or whatever. And so I remember, like, when it had finally came to an end, I don't even think we did a traditional breakup. It was just basically like him just, you might as well say, like, cutting me off, having a rude attitude. And it left me feeling very, like, used in a situation and very, very foolish, you know. Granted, I should have never flew to El Paso, Texas to see this man, but it's like when nobody had his back in basic training, I was there for that support, that strength. My thing that I want to tell you ladies is you have to be extremely careful when you're dealing with these men, because a lot of them need healing and they will soak you up and allow you to help them heal their inner wounds. And then when they're done with you, they will toss you to the side like dirt. And it's no hard feelings or nothing towards me and dude. I just wish at the time, you know, I would have been smarter. I was a young girl. Honey, chasing love, nose wide open, should have been living life, should have been enjoying life, too busy stuck on a man and being tied down to one man at my young age. In a relationship, no commitment. We both young as hell. I should have been living. Turning down so many people, which this don't really matter, but it do, girl, but it do. I had the sauce, sweetheart. Turning down so many people to be faithful to a man that was gonna discard me at the end of the day once he finished, you know, soaking up my strength and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I remember he didn't really care how things ended. And I believe at the time, like I told you guys, I was working at a chicken plant. I was doing pretty well for myself. I didn't have any kids. I was on my hustle. I was on my grind, honey, making steps to, you know, move forward in my life. I remember he used to stay, I think, 1 or 2 hours from my hometown. I'm not talking about where, you know, he was where he was stationed at, where he regularly stayed. He was like 1 or 2 hours from my hometown. I remember one time he came home and I was asking him like, hey, am I going to see you? And he was basically telling me no, because he wants to spend his time with family, even though, you know, there was a point in time where he didn't want us to be a part and he really enjoyed my company. So he decided not to see me when he came home. So I'm like, okay, yeah, this is really headed towards the point of no return. And girl, listen, I had a couple of people telling me like, oh, he in the army. You need to have you somebody on the side. You need to be doing this. But me in my mind, I'm really, really big on loyalty.
What is wrong with you?
And I felt like I had somebody that was really for me and that was really good for me. And I didn't want to be the one to mess it up. Look at my young ass. I should have been living. Girl, shut up. Anyway, boom. So we end up breaking up. He gets extremely rude. I had to just let him go. I didn't have no choice. Like I said, he would attach himself to me further and further, you know, making up stuff, acting like it was really going somewhere when it wasn't. I remember it was something that he did. I think it was the way he handled me through the end, where I was like, wow, okay, I knew absolutely nothing about this man. I knew he had a traumatic past. I knew that he didn't have that much family support, but the thing about me, the crazy thing is, I don't be expecting people to switch up the way that they do and to switch up so nonchalantly the way that they do. Like, can y'all imagine being so good to people and at the end of the day, they really just treat you like, you was the one that crossed them over? Like, I felt like in the relationship, in that short relationship, I felt really, really blinded at the end. So I had reached out to the woman that had raised him, that he called mom. And then here's another problem of mine. I be thinking, well, maybe since this is a woman, she will understand where I'm coming from and she will be able to, you know, let him know that, you know, how he treated me and the way that he handled me was wrong. I poured my heart out to this lady. I wrote her a textbook, baby. I let her know, like, hey, T done did this, T done did this. All I ever tried to do was, you know, show him some real love and treat him good and be his support system and just like that. And I feel like that he used me. Y'all want to know what she said back to me? Do y'all want to know what this heifer said back to me? She didn't say a thing. She didn't say nothing back to me, girl. I don't even know if she had read my text message. That left me to feeling even dumber.
100 million billion %.
Like, y'all listen, In relationships, I have had some not so good experiences dealing with these men's mothers. I don't know what it is. It just is what it is. She didn't say nothing at all. Never responded. Don't know if she read or anything like that. So I'm like, wow. One thing about me is I hate when women enable their sons' bad behaviors. I don't care if I had a son, just because you came out of me, that does not mean that I'm not going to correct you when you're wrong. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to instill into you that you don't treat women wrong and that you don't treat them a certain type of way. Granted, child, ooh, throat getting crispy. Granted, if I had a son, he wouldn't be perfect, but I hate when women be so caught up in their sons that they just be for whatever he has to do. Like, it's like, you being a woman, I expect you to check him on that stuff, because at a point in time you knew how it felt to be a woman that was hurt by a man. So it's just, I don't know, I guess my mindset is different, my brain is different. I understand people gonna side with their family, people gonna side with their kids and stuff like that, but it just ain't right. But life's not fair, life's not right. And yeah, that was a very, very short story time about the time I flew to El Paso, Texas for love. And being a young, dumb fool, I'm older now, I'm wiser now, I know my worth better. And the stuff that I tolerated from relationships in the past, I definitely would not ever allow myself to go through again, because I'm a different woman now. I'm a brighter woman, I'm a smarter woman, and that's why I use this platform to help other women not make such horrible decisions like I did. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. I hope that you go and check out my other videos. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel.